Megan Hall, the only female officer fired in connection to the Laverne Police Department scandal.
Look at how disingenuous the mainstream media is. Like, the fact that they managed to hire people that will manipulate and lie into your face like this. I wonder if they genuinely feel remorseful at night. You know, I mean, this is just like some random news, some random sex scandal. It's not a big deal. But they do it all the time. All the time they do it, and it's like, how? I wouldn't be able to do it. Well, maybe I would. Depends how much you'd pay me. But you'd have to pay me Maybe this is why they're paid so well. Huh? They always have, like, suits, and they appear like they're the elites, the nobility. What did they say, right? They said the name of the lady, the only female police officer that was fired due to the sex scandal. So what is the sex scandal? Apparently, 6 police officers had relationships with one of their colleagues. Right, so there were 6 men and 1 woman involved. Who else did you want them to fire? Maybe, I think like she wanted one of the other male police officers to identify as a woman, right? So that they can have like a percentage on getting fired? Seriously, like Harvey Weinstein, the only male in Hollywood that was fired, you know? Reverse the roles where you have like one womanizer that goes around and is harassing all his colleagues and then he gets fired, right? Would it be fair to say it's like the only guy that got... They know what they're doing, right? So apparently they settled for $500,000. It's like, oh, Dios mío. Like, I wish I was involved in a sex scandal. Holy shit. $500,000. You're set for life, aren't you? How much is like $500,000? Like if you, let's say, earn 30 grand a year. No, because you also have to pay taxes. Okay, let's assume 30 grand a year. It's kind of like, 30 years, give or take? Adjusting for inflation? I know what Biden is going to do, you know, or if any other words are going to start, and then the dollar plunges, so... But assuming you're not investing and you're not doing anything, like $500,000. Now again, they're acting as if, see, she won the lawsuit. Well, no, she didn't. They settled. And the way the mainstream media is constantly presenting this and is spinning this in order to get clicks, then I am not surprised that they did settle, because they probably did an assessment. It's like, how much is it going to cost us if this thing keeps going on and on, given the way that the press is reporting on it, versus how much it costs us to settle. And apparently they didn't pay from their own pockets, the insurance company did, right? So from their point of view, it was, well, it is what it is. Now, it's interesting because the mainstream media also obfuscates and say, well, it didn't come from the money of the taxpayer. Really? Well, what happens when you cash in on insurance? I'm not an expert. I don't have a car, right? But I assume that if you crash your car and you cash in on insurance, the insurance goes up. Isn't that how it works? I think it's how it works. I don't know if the media knows how it works, but it kind of works like that, doesn't it? Such a disgusting story, you know, because, like, no one was actually there. Like, no one knows what's happened, but it's safe to assume. I mean, come on. You know, all of us have been through high school. Like you have to... They're asking us, not just to lie, but to forget all of our lived experiences, to forget everything that we saw in reality, and to believe that we are just these atomized individuals, and what we saw in our reality is just a complete outlier. And the real world isn't like this. The real world is how the media presents it, with fiery and mostly peaceful protests. Everyone was in high school. Everyone knows that there was that girl in high school that had many boyfriends, let's put it like this. In fact, you know, even besides that, there is this podcast. I forgot the name of it, but in this podcast, you have like those 2 guys, and they're bringing all sorts of OnlyFans girls, and they're interviewing them, right? And usually the question, what is your body count, comes up, right? A very interesting way of putting it, but basically they start saying 40, 50, 60, 100, right? I mean, it does happen, right? And why is it so difficult to believe that you can actually have a person of the female variety that is unprofessional in the work environment? But I'm not saying that's what happens, but the media is considering that is so unthinkable, so just radical. It's impossible. It would never. No, especially not in the United States of America under Joe Biden. mean, I think it's what happened. My opinion, right? Like, I personally think that this is what happened. That when you act unprofessionally, whether you're a man or a woman, you get fired. I mean, the men got fired as well. And by the way, should I talk about the stories that happen at hospitals between doctors and nurses? Because when I went to the hospital, that was quite normal. I mean, if the things were revealed of what happens, almost everyone would get fired. That's why everyone shuts the fuck up about it. But no, seriously, like, think about it this way, right? In Romania, if you're on call as a doctor, you work for 32 hours. And a lot of people are like, well, 32 hours. The day has 24 hours. Yeah, moron. You go to the hospital at 7 a.m. and you come home the next day at 4 p.m. And then the next day you have to work again, right? So when do you have time to fuck? The answer is you don't. So many doctors and nurses, they form relationships with each other, and they do it in the hospital. It happens, okay? Like pretending that this is something that never takes place, that this is absurd. Now, when it happens, the question is, do you get caught? Now, if you do get caught and it creates a scandal, like if a patient was to catch you and it films you or it somehow causes a scandal, then those people get fired. Because we live in a world where everyone pretends that they're not what they're doing, and we live in a world of fakeness and perk clutching, and we're pretending that, oh my god, oh, how did it happen? Oh, blah, 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 blah. And, that person gets fired. It's the way it works. But, I guess she managed to get $500,000. Good for her. Apparently her reputation was tarnished, and I mean, I do understand, like, when you become the meme of the internet, it's difficult to recover from that, but still, I think like $500,000 is a little bit too much. I think it's a little bit too much. I wonder, like, if had she stayed at the police station for the rest of her life, how much would she have made? Probably less than that, right? Especially that now she can get a job in another field. But still, yes, pearl clutching, absolutely. Oh my god, misogyny, horrible. I know. The only I'm generally trying to think, like, where is the only place you can have sex and not get fired? And I think is the Senate, right? If you have boot sex in the American Senate, like, that's fine. No, actually, no, hold on. No, that person was fired. No, the staffer did get fired. Yeah, even the staffer got fired. Yeah, no, it's kind of like this. I genuinely think that in most places that are public institutions, right? So they don't do that in the private institutions. But in the public institutions, yes, people do have sex at work. And sometimes they get caught and they get fired. I don't know why this story was so particularly impressive. Like, heaven forbid they actually start looking into the military. Oh, Dios mío. Or in the prisons. The female prisons, holy shit. I think there was like an article just a couple of days ago talking about a particular nasty prison where the guards. Yeah, it's interesting. Like how does this is a good question. How does a female prisoner get pregnant inside the prison? Yeah, I mean this would actually be an interesting story, but you're not going to see the news reporting on it for some reason. Do let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the comment section. Take care.